Hi there. A friend asked me to show her my workflow in Lightroom Classic and just take a photo from its original look to what I would like it to look like. And here's the photo I picked. It's a bobcat at point raise. That on the left is the original photo. I was shooting with a Canon camera that day, a borrowed one. And of course, we can't control the light. And it was later in the morning. It was a little harsh light and blew out some of the whites, and just doesn't look good. There's a lot of distraction and messiness in the background. So I'm going to try and make it look better, more like the one on the right, although I might wind up a little bit different. So I'm going to walk you through this as quickly as I can because no one has the patience to watch every detail. So I'll try and rush it. Okay, so first we'll go back to a single picture. And if I look closely at it, I think the cropping could be a little better. I think the distractions are too many. The color is bad. So the first thing I would do is I would go over to the Develop module and I would just look at the basic module, and I would see what Adobe would do with it. And I like that pretty much. I think I would bring the highlights down a little more and maybe the shadows up a little more. And maybe the whites down a little more. Anyway, I would adjust it, but I can start with auto. I often do that. And then I would probably take a look at the crop. I don't need to enhance it or get rid of noise because it's only 640 ISO, so I'm going to leave it alone. And it's pretty sharp, so I'm not going to worry about that. I can sharpen up just his face a little later. So first thing I would do is the auto, and then the second thing probably would be to crop it a little better. I would bring this down a little bit, bring this up a little bit. Maybe I like to get that line close to the eyes and maybe up a little bit more here. I don't want to cut off his foot. So that's pretty good, I think. Then it looks like he's really lunging at me. And the next thing I might do is, these distractions are bothersome. So I would probably go to right click and edit in Adobe Photoshop. I'm not going to take out all the distractions, but I'll show you how I do a few of them. So you just open Photoshop from within Lightroom and wait for a bit for it to come up. And okay, so I would choose, I'm going to have to move this window over a little bit so you can see. Okay, I would choose the remove tool, and then I would make sure it's the right size. I already did that. You can size it up here. And I would just go get rid of that one. And it takes it a second or two, and I'd probably get rid of this one over here. And, oops, yeah. I mean, it's pretty darn good. It's amazing what it will do. I'm not going to do the last one, yes, I will. I will do it, even though it'll take a minute. Because you got to get the full impact of how easy this is. Okay. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do in Photoshop. It does such a great job. And then I would just close. Oh, that's Lightroom. I didn't mean to do this. Cancel. I got to close Photoshop. And I say yes, I want to save it, and it will bring it right back into Lightroom with the cleaned up photo. And there you have it. It's really nice. And the next thing I would do is try and clean up this background a little bit. So I would go over to Lens Blur and click Apply, and it checks out what's the subject and what's behind it, and it tries to clean up this background a little bit. It's subtle, but it helps a lot to make the cat seem more 3D. You can see how it just cleaned it up a little bit in the background there. And I like that a lot. Okay, the next step for me would be probably to mask the subject. And it usually does a pretty good job of that. Yeah, there it goes. It left off his chin, which I will add. Add a little brush. And it left off this area, which is very important. And subtract some of this grass. Oops, subtract brush. Don't need the grass. And subtract there. And that's pretty good. And so I would then go to tone in, this is within the masking area. And I would just bring down the exposure a tiny bit. A very tiny bit. Bring the highlights down some more. Yeah, that helped a lot. And I would probably go to the color and just try and make that a little bit warmer. Just a little warmer. There, I like that. And since I've got the whole cat subject, I think I will also do a little sharpening. Go to detail and sharpen. Wait a minute, is it doing it? I think it's doing it, yeah. Okay, I think that looks good. And then I will go to reset and look at my changes. Looking pretty good. However, doesn't seem to have taken my crop. Let me check that. It did, but I like it a little bit further in on the bottom. Okay, that's better. I'm pretty happy with this now. I'm going to, again, look at my mask again, and I'm going to duplicate and invert the mask and just make the background a wee bit darker. Not much. See, there's where it was. I'm going to bring it down just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to add a new mask. I'm going to do a radial mask. And I'm going to tilt it a little bit. And bring it down like that. And then I'm going to duplicate and invert it. And I'll bring it down some more. Bring it. And now I'm going to give it a little vignette, darken that a little bit on the edges. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to say okay to all that. And under basic, I'm just going to brighten it up just a tiny. I'm going to bring up the temperature a tiny bit. And I'm going to bring up the exposure just a tiny bit, the whole thing. And I think I like it. I could go back in and mask these little areas here where it's very overexposed and make those darker. That might be the last final touches, but I probably do a little more here and there, but that's generally my workflow.